Another team from the group of death, which is Group B, and it's time for the Bangla Tigers we are discussing today. I have Orko with me. Orko, Bangladesh, always known for a really good side, especially in Asian conditions, with the amount of experience they have. We understand some of the highly experienced players have been due, the likes of Shakibul Hassan, Mamadullah, Mushfiqur Rahim, but the youngsters are equally good characters and equally good cricket players. And when you talk about the squad, first of all, let's take a look into Bangladesh's squad. And here it is. Litan Das, who is leading the side from the front. You have Tanzit Hassan, then Parvez Hussein Imon out there. Shaif Hussain is there. Tawhid Ridoy, Jekar Ali, he has been so impressive. Shamim Hussain, there is Nurul Hassan, you have. Sheikh Mahidi Hassan, you have. Then you have Rishad Hussain, Nasum Ahmed. Then you have the Pacers among Mustafizur Rahman, Tanzit Hassan Saqib, Taskin Ahmed, Shariful Islam, Saifuddin is there as well. So many characters. But the thing when your eyebrows get scratched and you will be surprised when you see of the standby players. There's so many experienced ones out there. Shomo Sharkar is there. Mehdi Hassan Miraz is there in the standby players. Tanvir Islam, and then you have the likes of Hassan Mahmoud. So four names, four equally good cricketers in the standby list. First of all, why is there no Mehdi Hassan Miraz? Does that surprise you?
Definitely. I mean, people often say that he was like the next right-handed Shakib because the skill sets that he brought in with his very natty off spin, and because he was used as a floater, he could bat anywhere. He could open, he could bat at three, and even play a good finishing role. Plays those cameos to perfection. So it was a bit of a surprise when I saw his name in the standby list. It did take me by a lot of shock, but maybe they are trying to bring in a process, trying to promote a bit more youngsters, trying to mix up youth and experience together. So maybe that's why they put him in the standbys. But sooner than later, if someone does make way, we always talk about niggles and such stuff, then maybe we never know, even he could make way very soon in this tournament.
Absolutely, but you talk about Bangladesh, and the reason why I'm saying this team is very highly likely to make it into the knockouts, possibly. I'll hear it from you later on in the show about your predictions. But coming off three back-to-back T20 series victories, this is mind-blowing. And all, I think a couple of them are away from home. That's excellent job led by Litan Das as captain. Your thoughts on how Litan Das will lead the side? Will he have a little bit of patience and clarity he needs to lead to his country in conditions in UAE?
Well, definitely. He needs to understand his role in the team. I mean, even in the past, we often associated Liton Das with a player with immense talent, but the performance is never reflected. And people like Ashwin also rated him very highly, saying that Liton Das is perhaps the most talented batter down in Asia, is what he said almost 2, 3 years ago. But it's sad that he never lived up to the hype or the talent that people talk about. But now that he has gotten captaincy, sometimes we have seen the likes of Shubman Gill. When they get responsibility, they bring their best out. So if Litton realizes his value and brings his best out, it will be good signs for Bangladesh.
You just said about Shubman Gill, and this is where I'm thinking of a question towards you, and rightly so, because Liton Das has been there for Bangladesh over the years and now has been performing well, also leading the side. Is this tournament a big test for Liton Das, the captain, as he transfers him from a stopgap captain to a long-term leader? Is it possibly there?
Definitely, it's a big test, and we are seeing some big names who have been put at standby. So definitely, they are waiting to get their opportunity in the team. And if someone has experience that Liton Das doesn't deliver as a captain or as a batsman, then they're definitely people who can take his place. And even in a previous big tournament, he was omitted, if I'm not wrong. So
Yeah.
I think Liton Das would know that his place can't be taken for granted. And given the talent I think he played some rash shots early on. If he tries to take some time, even a legend like Tamim Iqbal mentioned the same, saying that Liton Das should take some time in the crease, not rush into things. Then the best of Liton Das as a batter and maybe as a captain also might translate.
Absolutely, definitely. The Liton Das, the batter, Liton Das, the captain, always comes into equation. But talking about the openers of Bangladesh, there are talented left-handed openers out there. Parvez Hussein Imon is there. Tanzit is also there. Also, you have Liton Das himself. You have Saif as well. Your thoughts on who should be the opening pair? Is it a couple of left-handers, or are you going with that formula of having a lefty-righty combination? Your thoughts?
Well, I think Imon and Tanzit would be the ones who would open because Imon is a free-flowing player, likes to go after the bowling in the power play, especially a largely leg side driven player.
Correct.
He likes to play towards the leg side a lot. People like, if you remember in Afghanistan example, Zazai, Hazratullah Zazai was a player who used to love playing just in the leg side. So he's a similar kind of player. On the other hand, Tanzit, a very, very talented player, versatile player, got a lot of shots in his bag. I think if they concentrate on getting not just good starts, but healthy starts, with runs under their belt, I think Bangladesh would definitely flourish if the top order flourishes. So I think the two left-handers would make way, and maybe that crucial number three spot, that bridges the top order and the middle order, would be taken up by the captain.
Okay, captain out there in number three, which is always a very, very important spot to bet on in any format of the game. You talk about middle order, there are so many good cricketers in this side. If you look at the squad that plays spin well, and couple of names I'm mentioning about Tohid Ridha and Jaker Ali. Your thoughts on how much importance will these two batters especially have? I understand you have the likes of Shamim Hussain. It would have been even more stronger if they had the likes of Mehdi and Miraz into this side in the top order as well. But Jaker Ali and your Tohid Ridha versus spin.
Definitely. I mean, Tawhid Hridayat has time and again proven himself to be, the next big thing in Bangladesh batting. So he's very talented, the way he takes on spin, and also has a pretty healthy ability against pace. So I think he's a crucial cog in that middle order. And people often associate teams with having a top heavy lineup, but here's Bangladesh who are stronger as the wickets fall. So I think people like Tawhid Hridayat and then the big hitter, their Russell as they call him, Jakar Ali, is someone who's also in form, also brings in, a lot of flair, the spice. People often say that he has a Caribbean element in it. So I think these two players would be very important for them in the lower order, especially in the middle order.
Absolutely, that could be pivotal, but you also have another wicketkeeper backup. You definitely have Jaker Ali. You have Litan Das, who's going to lead from the front. You have Nurul Hassan as well. Nurul Hassan has been leading a side in Bangladesh Premier League. After nearly 3 years, he's back into the T20 international side. Is he expected to warm the bench in the start?
Well, I think so. I mean, because they have a bunch of experienced players who are, ready to take the place. So I think he may warm the bench. But that being said, again, as we talked about, Niggles and all such stuff, if anything like that happens, then definitely someone would make way. But as of now, I feel that he's not in the mix of things. But yes, he's certainly a potent player looking to get his chance.
Well, if you talk about this group of death, the reason why we say this group of death is the other teams as well, keeping an utmost respect to the Hong Kong as well, but keeping them aside, you have the likes of Sri Lanka and Afghanistan, who also have quality spinners, play spin well. What can Bangladesh do different? Because if you talk about their spinners, they have the likes of Rishad Hussain, Nasum Ahmed, Sheikh Mahidi Hassan is also there. What can these three spinners do for them?
Well, spinners do play a crucial role, but when you talk about the Asia Cup, you do know that most teams do play spin pretty well. So I think what decides would be the ones who does well in the power play. I mean, Bangladesh has a history of not batting well in the power play, losing wickets in heaps. So I think their batting, especially the top order, would be tested. And when it comes to the bowling, those big three people talk about Shoriful, then Taskin and Mustafizur have to deliver, to set the platform for the spinners to take over. I think
Right.
it will be crucial for the pacers to complement the spinners. And in tracks like UAE, which is slow and sluggish, I think people like Mustafizur Shoreful with their cutters and their variations would be very handy. So I think it's their pacers who need to complement the spinners, and overall that would decide the future of Bangladesh bowling.
So are you saying the Pacers need to complement the spinners on the basis of the exclusion of Mehdi and Miraz? Because if we talk about the spinning department and the three names I mentioned, I think wicket taker wise, it's Rishad Hussain and nobody else. So if you're talking about Pacers supporting the spinners, the likes of Fizz and others, is it just because that Mehdi and Miraz is not in the squad who has the capability to pick wickets?
Definitely. I mean, because they are for some reason best known to them, they have put him as standby. So definitely, the other experienced bunch of people should deliver. So I would hope that someone like Shoriful has a good tournament first. He's pretty talented. He has also been the leader of their attack in the past. And Taskin again comes in with good form and Fizz with the experience. He does well in tracks like these. These are big grounds as well. I think they do have just the kind of bowlers they need for thriving in surfaces like this. So look out for Bangladesh to be a dark horse if that bowling unit stands up.
It definitely will. And if you talk about the pace bowling attack, you have the experience of Mustafizur Rahman, who doesn't need any introduction. You have Taskir Ahmed out there. You have Shoriful Islam, Tanzid Hassan Zakib, and Saifuddin. Five pacers I have in my list. At least three, if you have to pick out of in terms of experience and also according to the conditions, Mustafizur Rahman certainly is there. Who's the other two?
I think Shoriful and Tuskin definitely, because what they bring in the power play, Shoriful also brings an element in the depth. And I think Tuskin, because we all know he's that big experienced guy, the one who picks wickets up front. I know it's a bit harsh on Tanzimas and Shakib because he has also done well. Saifuddin also in the recent past has been in good form. And if you look at the standby, someone like Hassan Mahmood is also not getting his chances. So I think they have a lot of competition in their pace attack, but I think experience is what would get the nod for these games. So I think Shoriful, Tuskin, and Mustafizur would be the trial.
And watching this player in IPL since years and also in Bangladesh cricket, Mustafizur Rahman, he will also have a time when he has to hang up his boots. Is this the last Asia Cup for him?
Could be definitely because as we already talked about competition and people waiting to get their chances, I think
Yep.
Mustafizur would want to go out on a high if this is indeed his last major tournament or an Asia Cup. So I think definitely this could be his last, and a good performance is what people would expect from him.
Absolutely. And group of death, his experience, and the other left arm seamer is there, the Shori for his arm. And the team overall looks good, isn't it, Orko? And when I talk about the players to watch out for, I've gone with three specialists. players. Liton Das is there in my list. I've gone with Rishad Hussain and Mustafizur Rahman. The reason why I was highly rating Mustafizur Rahman because of his experience and how much he can provide in big match games. Your thoughts? These are my three players. Any changes for you?
Definitely, these three would matter. If you look at a dark horse pick, maybe we talked about Sridhar because his batting form, in the middle order, he plays those clutch knocks. When their top order gets knocked off, he's the one who takes over when
Yes,
they're
and
like
then he
10
played
to
one
2
of
or
them versus India.
versus India as well. So I think he has that caliber. He's a calm head. He plays those big knocks and keeps his wicket with a good amount of value. So I think he'll be another addition to this. But Litton, as we talked about, he has a very crucial role to play in this side as captain and batter. Rishad Hussain is literally the primary spinner, especially with no Mehdi Hassan Miraz. He would be, having a bit more job to, curtail the run through and also get a few wickets because he's a leggy. And also with his batting, he has some abilities. And Mustafizur would be the leader of the pack with all his cutters and experience.
True, definitely. And that's what I think as well. So we are almost on the same page. Predicted playing 11 time for Bangladesh. And this is what I've gone for. Tanzid Hassan is my opener, Orko, along with you, what you said about Pervez Hussain Iman. These are my two openers. Liton Das is there as the captain and the wicketkeeper at number three. Tawhid Ridha, Shamim Hussain, Jakar Ali are there in the middle order. Rishad Hussain and Nasum Ahmed are my two other spinners. Then you have got with the three seamers, Shariful Islam, Taskin Ahmed, and Mustafizur Rahman. So I think more or less a set 11. Any changes, any inclusion for you?
Well, I think definitely not because these are just the kind of players who pick themselves. They come with experience and also performances. So I think they're pretty much settled. People don't talk about Bangladesh too much, purely because of the hype which teams like India or Afghanistan get. So I think if they actually perform to their abilities, they can, pack a punch. So I think they have the team. They're pretty settled. I know Tanzim Hassan Shakib is someone who also deserves his place in the side, but you cannot pick yourself ahead of, the experience of Shoriful or Mustafis Taskin. So it'll be a bit harsh, and you can't play four paces. So I think
True.
this is what the lineup would be, and they still look a pretty balanced 11.
Okay, and Bangladesh enters this Asia Cup with lingering self-doubt. We all know the small teams, and when they have a little bit, when they fall under pressure, but we understand their quality, especially about squad balance and leadership. Your thoughts? Will this team rediscover its belief by match because they need to play a lot of top teams, and as I discussed about the group of death, rather than carrying it fully from the start. Your thoughts on what can Bangladesh do in terms of this?
Well, I think they need to get some inspiration from Sri Lanka. I mean, everyone used to write off Sri Lanka
True,
as well,
true,
but look
true.
at how they have been performing. And also away from home, they have been doing pretty well, especially at home. I know that they are a stronger force. Even in the previous Asia Cup, Sri Lanka, unexpectedly did much better than the other more hyped teams. So I think if you take some inspiration from Sri Lanka, try to win game in phases, and most importantly, the captain should deliver with the bat and also as a spirited leader. I think this is what they need to really do. And if inspiration works for them, the performances would automatically come.
Fair enough. Final question before I move into the knockout stage and your predictions as well. Where does Bangladesh look at this stage? Are they going to surprise everyone in the Asia Cup and qualify for the knockouts? Or are they going to do the same thing that they do, which is falling short once again of the knockout stage? Your predictions for Group B.
Well, I think Bangladesh perhaps would struggle to qualify because they always have this tendency to falter in big tournaments. So I think it will be a bit hard for them, especially with the likes of Sri Lanka and even people like Afghanistan also in the mix. So I think it will be difficult for them, but we never know. I would be pretty happy to be proven wrong as well.
So your two teams, Afghanistan and Sri Lanka?
Yeah, definitely, it has to be Afghanistan and Sri Lanka from this group, and perhaps if any team does get knocked out by Bangladesh, it perhaps would be Sri Lanka. But I do expect Afghanistan to make it.
Okay, so Afghanistan and Sri Lanka, according to you, from the group of that. That's all we have. Pretty much summed up Bangladesh's squad as well. Thank you so much, Arko. We are building India's smartest cricket community. Subscribe to become a part of it.